Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We are here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart.
Yeah.
And then there's me, Jeanette, a mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. Please.
Yes, please. Okay, so we're back again for a new episode. We just had a long weekend here in Canada. This weekend is May 2-4 in the US. The summer long weekends have kicked off,
Right?
and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And before we get into our episode, let's just do a little quick check-up and check-in. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. This past week, it was sunshine. I got sunshine. Vitamin D was great. It's lovely. And I can't complain. The work week was it was all right. Nothing really to complain about, or I'm choosing not to. Overall, how was your week? Mine was okay.
It was pretty good. Well, we didn't have an episode last week because we had a long weekend and I was coming off a vacation. It was my B-day, so a lot of things happening.
Yes.
And so, I was in Cabo, which was very beautiful, very short stay. I would recommend it. I definitely would recommend it. I feel like it's a good, I can make the best out of anything, and it's a beautiful place. You could do hiking, you could do ATV, you can do all the typical like vacation stuff like zip lining, all those things. But they also have a very, if you love Mexican food, you'll be in heaven. And they're right by the sea, so lots of nice seafood dishes and stuff, which I really enjoyed. And they're really good for. They have beautiful beaches, but they're not beaches. They also have a lot of beaches you can't swim. That water looked rough. It's closer to the Pacific. It's not the Caribbean side. It's on the Pacific side. Right. So it's really popular for surfing. Like it's very drastic waves and stuff. So if you're a surfer, you'll love it. Food, partying, and a lot of cultural significance. But it's very travel friendly place. I would say you could drive. Very modern. Lots of real estate. So I had a really good time.
And how did you enjoy your birthday?
My birthday was good. I had dinner with my family. I had dinner with my sister and my niece, and then with my parents. Kept it simple.
Yeah.
At this stage in life, all I really need for my birthday, this is what I need to enjoy my birthday. I'm at the age now where it's like, God bless anybody who still wants a fanfare for their birthday. God bless you. That's your prerogative. But for me, it's a simple thing of self-reflection, appreciation, and always first thing I do as the hour crosses into my birthday or the day before, I just really get down on my knees and just thank God, for what I have in my life right now, or how my life is now, regardless of anything, right?
Yep.
And just be thankful and treat myself.
That's right.
And those are two things. And my family's usually on me because I typically travel around my birthday. So I decided to make sure I was here on the day of. And so I still pampered myself, but I was still around here for that time to celebrate it with those who care about me. And so so it's pretty good.
That's awesome. Glad to hear you had a good birthday and safe travels and got to explore a little bit. And that's good. Glad to hear that.
So with that, we will jump into the headlines. And we're going to get started with just first appreciating our listeners who continue to tune in and check us out. And even if we miss an episode, you guys continue to come back and catch up with us. So we really appreciate that.
We
just want to ask those who are listening to continue to rate, subscribe, and drop comments wherever you listen to our podcast. So Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever, we're everywhere. And so thanks for tuning in. All right, so we're going to start with Miss Unproblematic, for me, Kelly Rowland. she was
Mhm.
in the news this week, and it was very it was a frustrating thing to see, if I'm
Right?
honest. It was very disappointing because Kelly Rowland is the most gracious celebrity out there.
Right?
To
I know.
to what I know and what I see, she has been very gracious to the media. Considering, I think we talked about this in one of our episodes a while back,
Mhm.
where she had to get a little spicy with an interviewer
Yes.
because, that continuous comparison and asking about Beyonce and Destiny's Child. That my girl, I'm here to promote a movie I'm in. My next step,
Right?
I'm in the next phase of my career, and you're asking me the same questions you were asking me 20 years ago, and that's a
Right?
problem. Okay. And she started to advocate for herself. I think that's why it was newsworthy at the time, is that she finally got a little bit of backbone and
Right?
was like, the graciousness. I Because graciousness is, it's a funny thing, and we always want to give grace, but sometimes, especially us as a people, need to get set some things straight. Like,
Right?
you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you know, you know. And
That's
so,
right.
anyway, she was in the news because she was walking the red carpet for the Cannes Film Festival, very elite top film festival that happens in France. And,
Mhm.
red carpet events. Listen, you see these beautiful gowns,
Right?
the beautiful gowns, and maybe, less exciting, but the suits, I guess.
Right?
Are these designers want their shit seen, point blank. Okay. And
Like, this
because
is the opportunity.
let's be
Like,
serious, these celebrities ain't paid for shit because
right? You gotta pay for a goddamn thing. Because
yeah,
guess what? If you want your dress seen, you choose a celebrity, you give them whatever the hell they need, and you get on that red carpet. This
exactly.
is your
So
moment.
yes, and even now today with social media, and the veil has been lifted with that whole behind the scenes with celebrity culture. One of the reasons they get free shit is because those designers want their pieces to be showcased on a red carpet. The more prestigious the better, and this is a top film festival in the
Like,
world.
I don't know.
And so anyway, the
Can you get
incident,
more
you can't
prestigious? Like,
you
shit.
can't get any more prestigious than that,
At this
right?
point, at this point.
So Kelly Rowland was wearing a beautiful gown.
Beautiful.
I can't remember the designer. I looked it up, but it was not one that I would remember. But I wish you guys look it up. But it was a gorgeous gown, very red. Not something red is a color I'm always something I shy away from. But she looked gorgeous,
As a
and
black woman, that red looked bomb on
yes,
her.
it
It
looked,
was the right tone of red
and it
because,
like kind of had like a
yeah,
Grecian, like that
right.
Roman style. That's how
Uh,
you do it. Like, listen, Serena, take notes.
Serena, oh Lord.
We know it's hopeless, but
No, I have to go. No, but it's for real. Like, Selena, tell somebody if you watch this, please. Somebody on the team. You understand? You have to put
okay.
all of your people them in front of a television and look how it should do. Kelly, honestly, yeah, I'm telling you, red is a thing on black women, and I say this because dark skinned black women, there's a certain type of red.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, if it's too fire engine red, it could
Mm,
look horrible on you. If
mm,
it's too dark red, it could look more wash you out kind of
mm,
thing.
mm-hmm.
That red was beautiful. And we know that she's not a natural blonde, but
Mm-mm.
the fact that she put the blonde,
It looked
I
good
just thought
on her.
that Kelly looked extravagant. She
Yes.
looked so
It looked like
pretty,
money.
right? And her skin was just so beautiful and just shining. That's why, to have this heifer
This,
here,
okay, so yeah, so Kelly's going up the thing, and she's
like
going
every other star,
like
like
every
every
other
other
star.
star who got their moment,
So
right?
I assume, here's my assumption, is that there's the main red carpet where the step and repeat, as they call it, and it looks like, okay, this stairs is kind of like the exit of the red carpet before you get into the function, right?
Right.
And so it looks like the event had some people on the stairs that either help, My assumption is they should be there to help you, especially the ladies, with their long gowns to kind of step up and kind of get up out of the way, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also, listen, not everybody gets in front of the step and repeat. So there's photographers even going up that like that are lined up even on the staircase. So they're still snapping pics while you're on that those stairs, what it looks like is like, the end of the red carpet and for you to go into the
Mm-hmm.
thing. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly's walking, she's going up, she's looking gracious, she's being gracious to the paparazzi, waving,
Mm-hmm.
smiling, showcasing her outfit, which is what they
Mm-hmm.
want. The
Mm-hmm.
paparazzi is there, they want that pic, they want that wave and that smile. And she's
Along
giving
with the designer of the damn dress.
yes, and she's giving
Yeah.
it to them.
Yeah.
And so
As she should.
this overzealous,
Listen.
I don't know,
Let
security.
me let you finish because I'm a real into that damn woman. Go
Yeah,
on.
this overzealous security comes up and is like rushing her, pushing her, stepping on her gown, not being there. Even if you need her to speed, if you really need to clear the way, I didn't see anybody directly behind her, so I didn't understand the haste. I didn't understand the rush.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not like somebody was. I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so touching her skin, like, bitch, I don't know you, why you touching me? Like, you can instruct me to keep it moving without touching and getting that close. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the issue. Kelly kind of had to be like, wait a minute, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
We're not having this right now. Finger
Mm-hmm.
pointing and everything. We don't see Kelly. We've never seen it. Let me say, we've never seen Kelly like this before.
No,
And
Kelly
I
has
think she
never
was
held up hand and finger and tell somebody to back
she was
off.
I've never seen her, and she was well within her right, and I still think she kept it cute. But anyway,
She
did you
sure
have to
did.
say?
So, okay, first, I wanted to say that there's two different clips that I've seen. The
Yeah.
clip that the media is seeming to focus on is
Mhm.
her with her Kelly
Yeah,
Rowland
right?
with her finger up in the air
Mhm.
as though she's
Mhm.
being an aggressive black woman to this white woman. The
Mhm.
second clip that I've seen is somebody who actually broke down the walking up, right?
Yeah.
And all these other actresses, superstars got their time to slowly walk up that damn stairs. You understand what
Mhm.
I'm telling you? Right down to the dog.
Mm.
There was a full dog, white and black, that had his full moment on the stairs.
I
Okay,
heard, yeah.
right. So why is it that Kelly Rowland has no one behind her? She's going. It's not as though she's not going. She's
Mhm.
just taking her leisure and she's taking her time, just like every other superstar that was there, every other white woman that was going up the same damn carpet. I
Mhm.
don't understand why, at that moment, when you see the black woman getting her shine, we now want to move her along and shuffle her along. Listen, Kelly, you did the right thing. She's lucky because if it was a different type of superstar, black woman, white woman, it didn't matter. They would have got railed up for even touching them. So the fact that you handled her the way that you did, and I did want to note the second version that I'm talking about, Kelly stopped the woman and was very, she was
No, she was
being
very nice
very
the first time.
nice,
She was
like
like,
super
okay. She put her
friendly,
hand up and was like, okay.
right? Let it
Mhm.
be JLo. JLo would have cussed her ass out. She would have brought the Bronx out on the damn red carpet. Okay, let it be somebody else. But she handled it very, very well. I thought that she handled it, especially since she has all these cameras around her.
Yeah.
Everybody is super, super okay famous here. She understands, so she kind of tried to gesture to the woman. Okay, yes, all right, I'm
All
going.
right
Yes,
there.
calm down. Okay, honey. Right. I even saw the mouthing of the words. It was like she either said "honey" or "okay, darling" or
Mhm.
something of affection. Well,
Mhm.
this woman wasn't having it. She was ready to push Kelly up the damn stairs,
Yep, she
and
was.
Kelly said, "Not today."
Not today, ever.
Not today. What we're gonna do is you're gonna back up off me. That's what you're gonna do.
And you
Okay.
know what's
And
funny? You
somebody
know?
from Kelly's camp came quick, fast, and in a hurry. That white dude, bald looking white dude, came
Mhm.
from no place. I don't know where the hell he came from, but he came
Mhm.
from no place and told the
He was
woman,
like,
like,
Duffer, back off.
you don't touch her. Like, I don't
Mhm.
even know what you're doing. Like, back up. She needs her space. So here's my opinion about the white woman.
Mhm.
Now, where we are, we have to be understanding that we're in a country that doesn't necessarily
Yeah, it's true.
view black people the same way as other countries view
Mm-hmm.
black people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm trying to be nice about this,
Yeah.
but we're in France, and
Yep.
French people don't like black people. I'm sorry, I'm going to put it out there. Sorry, French people. We're not trying to say nothing bad about you over here.
But they're not
The
shy to
hearts and
let you know.
minds.
They're not shy to let you know in France.
But
They'll be like,
we're
as
gonna keep
much
it
African people they have there, they don't give a shit.
right. Okay, so they don't particularly like black people, or there's a stereotype or racism or whatever, a discrimination against black people, and it was displayed on the red carpet. Kelly, I'm glad you had to put up your finger. You had to wave your finger in this damn woman's face and tell her to back up off you. I'm glad that your security people came and
Mm-hmm.
resolved that situation behind you real quick. And lastly, Kelly is not a problematic superstar. She has never been, but let me tell you something. Everybody has their limit.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody has their limit.
And you should.
And she should. This girl has been working just as blasted hard,
Mm-hmm.
okay, as any other superstar, including Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
since she also was 16, 17 years old, and she has made a name for herself. And I think that we should all respect the fact that she's in her own lane. She doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be in the lane that Beyonce's in. And furthermore, there's lots of love for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody can make the money. Everybody can be the superstar. Listen, let the woman be. Can she go up the damn stairs? She's on stairs. She's on
Okay.
stairs. Why are you stepping on gown?
Yeah,
Why are you
why?
pushing
Yeah, she
her?
could fall.
Why are we doing any of that? We're shuffling, trying to push her along. Nah, fam. You didn't do that to the dog. You didn't shuffle the dog, the white and black dog on the red carpet. You didn't shuffle him around. So we're gonna give Kelly her space and her time. And if it was me, Kelly, I would have stopped an extra 10 minutes and I would have called all the paparazzi. Yes, everybody come over. Yes, picture time. Because
She tried, but this bitch was all over her.
no,
Okay.
she was. But at that point, after that white guy came and told her to relax herself, I would have stand up there another 10 minutes. Because you're not going to push me. You're not going to disrespect me. And I'm sorry, but they're in a country where black people are, unfortunately, this shows what I'm saying. Okay? It shows what I'm saying. Kelly, you did the damn thing. Tell the damn white girl to calm the hell down. Okay? And yes, you look fabulous
Yeah,
doing
two
it.
things, two updates since the big kerfuffle on that
Stupid ass
is
woman.
she did another red carpet and she was asked about it. Obviously, it was everywhere. So, and she said, and it was kind of sad to see because like we know, like us as black women, we know what she's trying to say without saying it, but she looked really hurt too. It's kind of like it's embarrassing too. I think it would be embarrassing as much as you kind of she
How
defended
come that
herself.
you never did that to anybody else? If you're
Yeah,
on a, and here's my last thing on this for the people there, the security people, if you're on a time frame, right? Well, we should be rushing everybody
yeah, I
along.
need everybody to see everybody rush. So today, I think they've been trying to do some damage control because they
Of
released
course.
a video of a Dominican actress, a Latina, who she had also a beautiful dress, and it had like this long tail. They have the long tail of the gown, and I think it looked like a picture of Jesus or something like that.
Oh
So
wow.
it was a detail on the dress she was trying to show, and she was trying to flap it out, and the woman was similar to Kelly, if not and I think it was the same woman. That's the sad
See?
part.
Mm-hmm.
Was bullying her up the to kind of move and not do what she was supposed to do. She needs to you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
but I wonder if that's kind of damage control to move away from the racist
Of course it
accusations.
is.
But
Because
right.
at that point now
Because
she
why
had to
didn't that come out at the same time? But maybe
my
I'll be
thing
a
is,
woman.
if we're on a time frame, you should hurry up the dog, you should hurry up the white man, the white woman, the everybody else. Everybody have to be on the time. So therefore that woman should have been rushing everybody.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody. Why
Hmm.
did you pick her? Why
Yep.
did you pick her to rush?
The black
What, she
woman
don't deserve her time?
and the
Oh
Latino
no.
woman
Yeah.
both got it.
See?
So yeah, so Kelly said, "I have a boundary and I stand by those boundaries, and that's it." There were other women that attended the carpet who did not quite look like me, and they didn't get scolded or pushed off or told to get off. I stood my ground, and she felt like she had to stand hers, but I stood my ground. Yes, I saw it go.
That's how
Anyway,
it has to go, and you have to show them. And you know what? I know a lot of people have been saying about Kelly that as of late, she's been getting a lot of flack, and I don't know why. I feel like she's actually stepping into herself now,
I
where
think
she's
they
like,
don't feel. I
"I'm
feel
not
like
going to let you treat me however you feel like
that's
anymore."
it, and that's the only reason why people are speaking up. And again, I say, yes, I'm proud that she's doing that, because you can't be gracious when people are spitting in your face. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
I'm
So
sorry. But here's the thing: is that you've done the gracious.
you done it. We know.
You've
Yeah.
earned your stripes. You have your respect. Okay, you should have your respect. And if you don't, then you need to check a bitch, and that's what you did.
Yes.
That's what you did. Okay.
Okay. So moving on from Kelly, we wanted to talk about Miss Belle Khalees, Cardi B,
Yes. Balcony.
and
Every time I hear her real name, it just has me cracking up.
yeah,
Balconies.
so she was in the news last week for doubling down on her pledge not to vote for Biden or Trump this November.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you know what? There's a reason why this is something that stands out. Is last election term in the US, she was very vocal in her support of the Democratic Party and Biden, right? And she was criticized for that. She was criticized for that, and I mean, we know there's reasons for this, and the US politics are so complicated. It's like simple but
Mm-hmm.
complicated.
Right?
But that is why I think it's a dangerous thing. I don't think it is a dangerous thing for her to say. I would rather her go through the weird gray area that Charlemagne the God is in where he is not endorsing, and he is criticizing the Democratic Party, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not telling anybody not to vote.
Mm-hmm.
He's just saying he is not secure in the Democratic Party. People have accused him too, but I think at least he's being a little bit more fair than just saying, "No, I'm not voting." That's dangerous in a democratic nation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so she is saying that, essentially she did an interview with Rolling Stone, and she says, "I don't fuck with none of y'all N words."
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people got betrayed because, she was, again, she felt like she had layers of disappointment
Yeah, because she
in the
was riding
Democratic
with
Party.
Biden in the
Yeah,
beginning.
and a lot of people have that. A lot of people who supported the Democratic Party and Biden last time feel that way. But again,
Mm-hmm.
the danger here, period, point blank, and she says, "I feel like people got betrayed." It's just like, damn, you guys don't care about nobody. Then it really gets me upset that there are clear solutions. There is a solution. I know there's a solution because you're spending billions of dollars on any fucking thing. And she's right. A lot of people are upset with the billions of dollars sent to Ukraine and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And but to the point is, when we were talking, everybody's disappointed with politicians. That's what they do. They make promises.
Yeah.
Make promises and they break promises. And so, but there is a danger, especially right now, particularly in the U.S. and lots of countries. It
Mm-hmm.
is very dangerous if you don't vote. If you don't vote, rights are being lost. And we done seen Roe versus Wade
Ah,
be overturned because Trump was able to get a majority, conservative, like judge on the Justice Supreme Court. So this is life or death. This is like
right.
these are freedom.
Literally.
And like I said, I understand. I totally feel her and what she feels like a lot, right? Even if somebody who's not American, but who's seen everything, and
Mm-hmm.
normally, if I was American, I would be leaning there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tell people to vote as a public figure, and a public figure like her who has a huge, massive following, and so somebody who dipped her toe in politics and was very involved. That is ridiculous. It would have been better for her not to say nothing, even if she's not going to vote.
Yeah,
You
just shut
don't go
up.
on no big ass
Mm-hmm.
interview, even on her
Rolling
social media.
Stones? Like, really? Come on
Even if
now.
she went on her page and said that, that's dangerous.
Yeah, saying it at all is dangerous, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Mm.
Well, here's the thing with Cardi. She started out her career and she dipped her toe in the political arena, and I think she's been highly disappointed,
Mm,
as
fair enough.
have all
Mm,
Americans in certain respects.
mm-hmm,
Now, me, a Canadian, our politics are a little bit different, but I
mm-hmm,
understand her. I understand exactly how she felt, because I would say maybe 10 years ago, I felt how Cardi felt here in Canada.
mm-hmm,
That politicians are going to tell you what they want, that they think you want to hear in order to get elected, and I
mm-hmm,
get that, right? So you kind of have to use discernment as a voter. You kind of have to pick the best of the evils, to be
that's
quite
it. Mm,
honest. Like, that's just how it rolls. But what I will say, being that you speak to a large demographic of Black and Latino people,
mm,
you need to shut the hell up, Cardi. This is the one time I'm gonna tell you, shut the hell up. Because guess what? People fought long and hard for the
mm,
right to even have to
mm,
vote.
mm,
Okay? Now, you, being that you are Latina, and you are highly influential to a young demographic, I want to
mm,
point that out, young demographic, between the ages, I would say, between the ages of like 18 and maybe
mm,
25.
mm,
Okay, you should shut the hell up, because we need these kids to vote. We need their voices to be heard. We need, for Trump not to go back in
that's
office.
it. That's it,
That
really.
is the goal at this point,
Mhm,
okay? To make sure that he don't find himself in the office, because guess what? The rights that you think that you have will be shaky, Cardi, even as a Latina. As a matter of fact, even more
even
as a
more so.
Latina. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it was very reckless that you said something like that. Now, she did also say that she was going to focus on voting within her city,
Yes,
and doing, her voting there. And I'm not going to say that that's not important. It's
that is very
actually
important. More
more
important.
important
Yeah.
than the federal election,
Yeah.
right?
I
Because
agree.
it will directly affect her. However, shut the hell up, Cardi. There's times where you need to know when to shut the hell up. Now, I understand people want to come for you, your kids, your family. You can go off. People want to criticize your body of work or your new single. Go off, Cardi. But when it
Mm.
comes to politics, I need you to hush.
Hush up
Because
your
just like
mouth.
when you were with Biden, in the beginning, if you had just watched him, and I'm not going to say, from what I've heard, I'm not a whole lot into politics in the US,
Mm.
but from what I heard, he has tried to do things in the
He has.
background
Mm-hmm.
that we are not familiar with, or we don't, or maybe specifically Cardi didn't see a direct correlation to her life
Yeah.
with the bills that he's passed, but he
Mm-hmm.
has done work.
Yeah.
And when we look at the two evils that I was talking about, I'm sorry, you know, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe is better than Mr. Trump. That's all I gotta tell you. Okay? Because Mr. Trump he's looking to take away every blood clot right you have. You understand? He's looking to reverse 100 years. Okay? That's what he's looking to reverse at this point. So I think we need to go with Sleepy Joe. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's all I'm saying for the
Yeah.
US.
Let the puppets who manage Sleepy Joe do their work, and we'll just
Yeah,
keep
they
it
wake
going.
him up when it's necessary. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They wake his ass up when it's necessary. But to make that reckless statement, Cardi, I'm kind of disappointed in you, yo. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
am, because we don't need people to just turn away from voting.
Mm.
Because and I will say that as a Canadian, because the things that you do over there, it affects us here. So in Canada. So please,
Mm.
voters, don't listen to what Cardi has to say. I know she's highly influential. I know you're all disappointed. I know you're all tired of this nonsense. I get it. Politics have gone into the dumps after Obama is gone into the shits. And I get it. However, Cardi, shut the hell up. Let everybody go and vote and make their own decision. Don't influence them the wrong way, and you will.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to. Do you remember that documentary, Super Size Me?
Yes, I do.
I never
Yes.
watched it in
It's
its
so
entirety,
sad.
but it was one of those big documentaries that shifted the culture. I'm sure McDonald's is still recovering from that documentary,
Right?
and it was done by a filmmaker by the name of Morgan Spurlock,
Yeah.
and it was actually 2004 film. Damn, 20
Right?
years ago. Wow.
Right?
And the thing, it was pretty much he did an experiment where he ate nothing but a McDonald's for 30 but for he ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 days,
Morning, noon,
and
and night.
morning, noon, and night, and was being monitored by a doctor. And by the end, I think he was having some like mild like kidney problems or something. He had some health problems arise, but they were like mostly health problems that at the time he would have been 30 20 years ago he would have been 33. So they were health problems that were showing bad signs, but they were obviously not something that permanently affected him. Anyway, he died this week at the age of 53 from
Wow.
complications of cancer.
It's really young.
Yeah, that's pretty young for this day and age to be passing away, but damn, as they say, F cancer, because
Right?
cancer is the one thing that humans have not conquered yet, and it
No, we
is
haven't figured it out.
we haven't figured it out. And but yeah, so it was one of those things who shifted the culture. It was kind of the main thing he did. I don't recall anything else. I think he did a follow-up documentary, I'm not sure.
Well, in that same documentary,
Hmm.
he also showed like the food and how it breaks down, which
Yes, like
which
the bread
I
didn't break
found,
down. The bread
yeah,
didn't break.
that's the part that I really liked about the documentary. And I'm sorry, them fries still don't break down. They still didn't break down all now. If they're real potatoes, they should have done broke down. But he had this study going, and it was over a year, and the French fries didn't break down.
Mm.
I don't know. Kidney problems? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw. No, I actually just saw it. They said the effect of doing that was at the end of the month he was 25 pounds heavier.
Can you imagine in 1 month?
Yikes! Yeah, that's a lot of weight for 1 month. 25 pounds, especially for a man. 25 pounds heavier, depressed, puffy face, and experience. It was a liver dysfunction. Liver
See?
dysfunction.
Okay. That's telling you
And
something. But, RIP to you, my friend. Thank you for bringing the knowledge to the world.
yeah, it was a big cultural shift. I mean, McDonald's did recover and came back with a vengeance, but they definitely hit this definitely hit McDonald's hard. So RIP to Morgan Spurlock. All right,
Mm-hmm.
next we'll move on to I watched a recent episode of Club Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay is just he's giving us, people. I don't know. We could say people could say what they want about Mr. Shannon Sharp and
Mm-hmm.
this show, but you know what? Listen, Wendy's gone. We needed something. We needed
Like, I'm
something.
sorry. He just stepped in right on time because.
We needed something, right? So, yeah. So he recently had Lavell Crawford, which is a comedian, a big time comedian. I remember him from the BT days, and he's a big time
Mm-hmm.
black comedian that we see. We just have comedians that maybe everybody that's not talking about them every day, but I just know they're funny as shit. And I
Right?
actually enjoyed. I actually watched a majority of it, and I enjoyed it very, very much. Not only was he cracking me the hell up,
He's funny as
I
hell.
was he was very inspirational in changing his life around, because if you think about LeVar Crawford back in
Yup.
the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think I've seen the 90s videos, and even up until even in the
Yup.
2000s, he was a
Big
very,
boy.
very, very large man, like
Mm-hmm.
large, like
Very
this
big boy.
the ones where
Mm-hmm.
you're like scared. It's like, is he gonna
Right?
make it? Like, he's one of
Right?
those. He was, I would say, definitely morbidly obese. He has at
Yes,
one
he
point he
was.
said, I think at one point he said at his biggest he was over 500 pounds.
Wow.
So
And he looks like he has a short frame, like he's not a
I don't
tall
know.
guy.
Actually, when I saw him sitting across, it looks like he has a really long torso. When I saw him sitting across Shannon, he'd
Mm-hmm.
actually like they look. I'm assuming Shannon Sharp is a tall guy. They kind of looked kind of on par. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked a little bit. I was like, is he tall? Because you're right. I did assume, but when you're that big, you just don't look. You
Right.
don't have that stretch, so you don't know. But he doesn't look like he's like super short. he looked kind of like he has a long torso and his legs
Right.
aren't long, but he did look on par to like Shannon's height. Meaning that I think he's an average height for a man. And
Right. Yeah.
so, what I enjoyed outside of it being hilarious and just hearing his story, we don't know about him. He's just
Right.
one of those comedians we don't hear a lot. We just know we see him in old clips and old videos.
Yeah.
It's funny, you get a good joke, but I never really knew a lot about him. But I learned,
Mhm.
I think that it was interesting, the story about how he found out his dad wasn't his real dad,
Oh wow.
how, when his mom found out when he confronted his mom, and also what motivated him to get serious about getting rid of his weight. And he did need help. He did get a gastric sleeve, but he said in the early days of the gastric sleeve, he was scared because he knew somebody who did it and passed away. But I think as he learned in medicine, they learned that you have to be a certain, there's an optimal weight to get to
Mhm.
before you do those
Mhm.
surgical measures. And I think he said his younger sister did it, and that's what made him feel comfortable to go ahead and do it. And then obviously he got in the gym to kind of maintain
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
build back up muscle mass. And he said that he was motivated by his son. He got married and he had a son,
Mhm.
and he
Mhm.
wanted to be able to keep up with his child. And I think it's good, but he was also very realistic that he struggles and he made a conscious decision to eat healthy and everything. But as somebody who was a food addict, it's something that could always be in you, but he
Yeah.
always has a
Yeah.
daily reminder of what motivated him and what he went through to get to where he's at. So I like that he was very frank, funny, and candid,
Open.
open
Mhm.
about his, like, he had embarrassing situations. He talked about that. And he just kept it real about his journey, and
Mhm.
not just his weight, everything else. But I think that the weight was a big factor in his life,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good story. So Lavell Crawford, and he was.
Okay.
I mean, he had his little. When the comedians come, they did give little jabs to
Mhm.
their their the people in their colleagues or whatever.
Mhm.
He did a few that the one that I liked, he did few that were light. They were like, I didn't feel like he was throwing any real jabs at anybody, but he made a joke about Michael Blackson that I totally agree with, in that he said Michael Blackson hasn't written an original joke in over 20 years. I was like, yes,
Jesus.
every time I see Michael Jack Blackson's comedy, it's the same jokes.
I
Um
know. I know.
so yeah, I enjoyed it. Did you get a chance to see it or not?
I didn't get a chance to see it. Had some things to catch up on, but
Yeah.
I will. I Club Shay Shay. I don't know what you're doing over there. Who's finding the talent for you?
All I
But
know is I know that they don't normally do this with guests, and I don't know how he will repay Cat Williams, but we know Cat Williams lit that shit up.
he sure did. And you wouldn't have no damn show if it wasn't for Cat
I
Williams.
think
I'll
he
tell
would
you
have a
that
show.
right now.
He still would have a show. People are
Not
watching it,
like this.
but it would
Not
not be
like
like this. He
this.
wouldn't be not like this. No.
No, because Cat Williams got you how much again? Was it last time I checked? It
Oh,
was like
damn near
70
60
mil.
over. Well, maybe. Yeah, it could be 70. Yeah, it could be 70 at
Last
now,
time,
but
so okay. Sorry, Shay Shay. You talking about sports wasn't doing it. Okay, it wasn't. Not the same.
no,
It's
I think
not the
it's mixed. I
same.
think it's good that he mixes it. It's a good mix.
It
Like,
is. It's
there's
nice that he mixed it up. But
entertainers, there's
you once you
sports.
get the attention, you can mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. So now you can see that he gets more but I mean, he always had the comedians and the sports people, but
Yeah.
now I think he's bringing in like some musician. Like, he's getting more, like, he got Usher. Like, the caliber of guests increased significantly. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
definitely. But I
Um,
do like how he is giving people like Lavar as well. Like I know
yes,
him, you know him, but there's a lot
yeah,
of people who don't.
don't, yeah,
So he's giving him his shine, which
yeah,
is
and he was
nice.
doing really good numbers because in 24 hours he was definitely over a million. So he's doing good numbers too.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, so we'll move on to our last headline before doing our music news, and
yes.
it's about
Hmm.
Miss Simone Biles.
Leave the girl, Lord God. Just leave her and her husband.
Leave her and her husband alone.
God, people are just so wicked to this girl and her husband, man.
So Simone Biles, for some reason, I don't know, maybe things came up again, or I think, you know, and people are been calling him Mr. Simone Biles or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes over, she put up something on her stories, and she's like, I'm going to quickly address this joke that was never a joke. Y'all are blatantly being disrespectful to my relationship and my husband. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go ahead and say this one more time. Respectfully, F off. If you keep commenting or tweeting at me, I'm just going to block you. Simple as that. And no, I don't need to touch grass or whatever the F y'all suggest. Okay, Miss Biles. Here's the thing. It's fine for her to say that. I mean, if you're getting harassed online, you're getting harassed online, whatever. Yeah, block and delete, whatever you need to do.
Right?
But the problem, the side eye I'm giving it, because we gave her husband the side eye with right reason,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna sit beside him as she should. That's her choice. That's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But here's what the thing why I'm kind of side eyeing this is because I feel like she's getting pressure from him to address it.
Sure is.
I don't think it's really her seeing it and feeling away. Like, maybe she does feel a little bit. Maybe she's like, oh God, these guys are still going about it, like annoyed by it, but enough to cuss people about it. I don't know. And so, but I feel like her husband is at home, like just being a little bitch. And
Well, he didn't make it any better, to be quite
that
honest. And if I
interview
were
was
Simone, I would tell him, listen, pipe down, bitch, because guess what? You helped this whole situation by
you
telling
started
people,
this.
okay, you started it by telling people how you're the catch. Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
why I feel like people are. I feel like people are trolling. I feel like this started. Nobody was saying that much before that interview, but I think people are trolling him because the two facts that was like, and there's okay, fine, okay. I think the main thing was first he said he didn't know who Simone Biles was. It was like, really, nigga, really.
stop. I
Is that
can't.
like right? You're in sports. Even if you don't know what she does or what she's accomplished,
She is the best at it.
like I'm gonna need you to know she's an American gymnast at the very least. That's it. Like I'm gonna need you to know.
Like, you
Right.
can't be the best at something and now tell me that you don't know who's the best at
You
it.
never heard
Like,
right?
miss me with it, okay?
And so
Like,
I kind of
please,
feel
sir.
like because he's mediocre at his sport, that I kind of feel like that was kind of like a little, when you're trying to humble somebody subconsciously.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's not going to work over here in these streets because this they're humbling you.
right
You
and
should have never went on the podcast. I forgot
and
what
then
it was,
yeah,
and said that you were the catch. That
you
was your one mistake right there. Because how many gold medals have you won? Okay,
right, and so I
let's just
think
put it in
people since
perspective.
then people haven't really been a huge fan of him, but I think they troll him by kind of like
Well, he
emasculating.
started it.
And he started it, but I mean, you kind of have to know once you're in the public eye, like people are always gonna have shit to say. So I feel like her going off, or even him, like probably trying to get her to address it. It's kind
And
of
I
like,
think that's where the problem lies.
mm,
If you ask me, like,
mm.
don't don't address it at all.
That period point blank. You're putting oil on gasoline.
I don't know. I don't know what you're expecting. And but you know what I will say and what I don't like is that
Mm.
she's going to bat for him,
Yes, but
but
going
I'm
back
not
for
seeing that
yourself.
from him.
It's giving. It's not giving. I don't like what it's
Because let
giving.
me tell you something. If a man really loves his woman, right? His wife. This is the woman
Mm.
that you've chose to be your wife, right? All you need to do is set people straight one good time. That's all you need to do. One good
Mm.
time and tell
Mm.
them, yo, this is the love of my life. She is beautiful to me. She is the best at what she does to me. I don't
And
give a shit what none of y'all say. This
mm.
is who I call my wife.
Straight.
Set it straight
Say it like you
one
have some
time.
balls. Like that's
One
it.
good time. That's
Yeah,
all
and
it would take.
people will respect that.
And as a matter of fact, you putting people in check will show that first, you're not here with Simone Biles for nothing.
Mm.
Okay. You're not trying to get some clout off of her because, like you said, he's a mediocre football player.
Mm.
Okay. And she's a gold medalist. She is the gymnast of the century, as far as I'm
Mm.
concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
That's what
let's
they
just
say.
keep it a buck. And why don't you acknowledge that, put people in check, and say, those are the reasons why she is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so if y'all have a problem with it, I don't give a shit. This is my wife. But she's not doing that. He's not defending his relationship with her. He is not defending her. He is not saying nothing about nothing.
Mm.
Nothing about nothing, to be
Yeah. So
quite
why? Yeah.
honest.
Why does she have to say anything?
Well, this
So
is my point. Why does she have to be the protector?
yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
it's
That was a
giving.
part of your role. You didn't know that's what you were signing up for when you married her? You need to protect her too. But I see all the protection, it's a one-way street. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
and it's good that she's willing to protect her man. That's great.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
in the same breath, it's also making him look more shitty, to be quite honest, that you're protecting him so much. So I think at this point, we all need to shut the hell up on this. Everybody else has to just shut the hell up on this, because guess what? It is what it is. You guys are married. I just really wish that when you have black love like this at such a caliber of excellence, I hate that we're trying to break it down. And I wish that people would just let them be. Let them be. Why are we so invested in this woman's marriage? Why are we
Yeah.
so invested
Yeah.
in their relationship? He asked her to marry him. Okay, she might have been the one that was willing to go the extra mile to see him and to be in touch with him, and she did a little bit of the chasing. That's their relationship, but he asked her, and they got married. So let's let them be. Let's just let
Mm.
them be. You
Yeah.
know, we
So
know who the medalist is in the group.
yeah,
So
we
let's
know
just
what
keep
it
it pushing.
is.
You know what I
All
mean?
right. So well, that's her man, and she's gonna sit beside him, and that's okay. But it's him who's looking kind of. He's looking shaky.
Yeah, he is.
So we'll move on to music news before getting into our call out. So for music news, in the last week, Apple Music released their top 10 best albums. And it's been making the media circuit. And Lauryn Hill was number one, and they surprised her. I think she was in New York or somewhere with the award and telling her. I can't remember what she said, but you guys could look up the video. They came in and gave her the award in person. And she said, actually, I do want to look it up. I'll look it up after. But she said something that is interesting because all the things that are in the criteria, they said, yeah, there's also anything you talk about album, you always have to talk about to me, cultural impact. Not only like the streams or the listens or the plays, obviously it has to be something that was widely embraced, but also the cultural impact it had, and also the originality is really important to me. Like I didn't see the criteria, but like to me these are things that should be like definitely considered. Oh, I found the quote here where she said
Mm-hmm.
when they surprised her, they said that this is my award, but it's rich. It's a rich, deep narrative and involves so many people and so much sacrifice and so much time and so much collective love. That's what she said when they came to her and presented the award to her. And it was not based on streaming numbers, but it was mostly, I think, based on, I would say, cultural impact, but numbers should play a role. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the top 10 and then we'll get into the controversies. So this is a top 10 of Apple Music's 100 best albums of all time. It's giving questionable. I'm just going to say it straight up, but let's go.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Number 10, let me just say a number straight without commentary.
Yeah.
Lemonade by Beyonce. 9, Nevermind by Nirvana. 8, Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. 7, Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. 6, Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. 5, Blonde, Frank Ocean. Number 4, Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution. 3, Abbey Road, The Beatles. 2, Thriller, Michael Jackson. And number
Mm-hmm.
1, as I said, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. A lot of people are pissed that Thriller's number 2. They feel like it should be number 1. It's been number 1
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of lists with good reason, but I think you and I were talking about this, and here's where me personally, as somebody who was a very young woman when Lauryn Hill went solo and came out with his album, and
Mm-hmm.
to this day, this album is over 25 years. To this day, I can listen to this album and feel it so deeply. And if you really listen to the lyrics, it's not even as beautiful as it is. There's hip hop, R&B, and her voice was so rich, and her lyrics were so on point. Her flow, she had, everything. We can't get into how talented Lauren is, right? But as much
Mhm.
as just musicality, it's also the message is very healing. It's about
Yes.
accepting, she got pregnant in the height of her career, accepting the love of her child and moving with fear, like making a life decision in fear and still and living through that and being happy and proud that she
Mhm.
did that. It's about talking to the community, the black community in particular, and destroying itself with drugs and prostitution. And
Mhm.
it was a big social commentary of the times. Let's put it
That's
that way.
right. Yeah. Mhm.
And if we look at Thriller, Thriller is by far, we know Thriller has made number one album on many lists with good reason. But I think if we look at the difference between the albums, yes, Michael and Quincy Jones gave us, again, musicality,
Yes.
genre shifting, culture shifting music, yes. But I think the difference is there's something more deep and connecting personally to me with the miseducation of Lauryn Hill versus
Yeah.
Thriller.
Yeah, I agree. Now, when I saw this list,
Mm.
okay,
It's questionable. It's highly questionable. I'm
it's
sorry.
highly questionable because there's a lot of people who I think should be on that list and just weren't, or were very low on the list, like
Hmm.
closer to hundreds.
Hmm. Usher Confessions is number 5, people.
Like,
That tells you everything you need to know.
right?
What are
Okay.
we talking about here?
What is going on here? But yet Nicki Minaj is
Nicki Minaj is not even
not even
on
in the
the
100.
list.
She's not even in the 100.
Not even on the list.
So
Whew.
this is the questionable things I'm saying. But in terms of the top 2, right? Now, Michael Jackson in my world, cuz I grew up with Michael Jackson, and I think it was a timeless album, and it will never ever lose its relevancy
No,
ever, right?
no, ever.
However, it was more of a fun album.
Exactly. It was, yeah.
It had no
You
real
wanted to
depth.
dance, yeah.
There was no real
Lyrically,
depth. It was
lyrically.
like let's party. Like, let's party, let's have a good time, right?
Mhm,
With Lauryn Hill's album, it speaks to a lot of people at certain stages of their life,
mhm,
right? And I think it's something that you should all go out and listen to, because it is drawing us more back to God, to humility, to shame, to
mhm,
some people say that shame is not a good thing. It depends in the situation. However, she's bringing us back to a point where we still had some of those things in our society, and we
mhm,
don't anymore. And this is why an album like this, it brings us back down to reality. Instead of, Pound Town with Sexy Red, we're having
mhm,
actual content that a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people can find solace in her songs. A lot
mhm,
of people can learn something from her album. Take a listen. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal album. And the fact that this woman can be over an hour to 2 hours late for her
mhm.
concerts and still make it on the top, shows you how good that damn album
People
is.
still buying tickets.
Okay, there's still, but I just want to put it out there, Lauren. This is the one and only album that she's ever created in her career. It has
Well, we remember the
lasted.
unplugged. We had the unplugged, but
Nah. Yeah. I don't know what unplugged. There was parts of that where I was like, Lauren, you are unplugged. Because I was like,
I'm sorry I
girl,
laughed. I'm sorry I laughed, but it's true though.
no,
It's
it's
true.
true. She's crying down, breaking down on stages and nah, fam, no. The one album, the one album, honestly, was her best body of work, and it has lasted her entire career thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And to be
Mm-hmm.
quite honest, to be number one is it's not surprising. It's not surprising. I'm super happy that a black woman is leading in the number
Mm-hmm.
one spot, but it's absolutely fascinating how she is able to stay in that spot. This woman can't make it to a concert on time. She's at least 2 hours late. Okay. Sometimes she just call off the concert last minute and stuff. Like, she is a true, and I say a true artist only because she holds her craft at the
Yes.
top of her priority list. She doesn't give a shit about the rest of it.
Mm.
She really couldn't give a shit about the rest of it, because if she did, she would have made another album that was at that caliber. Because Unplugged, I don't know. Anyway,
Okay. So yeah, so there's a lot of controversy. The list is questionable, but I just feel like we're getting trolled when we get these lists from like Rolling Stone, Apple. It's like, because I think music is so subjective, right?
it
So like
is. Yeah,
you were saying like the Beatles. I mean, but really the Beatles were one of those culture shifting.
they were, but they
But it
need to.
just feels
I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj isn't on the list, and the
that's a
Beatles
problem.
from the '70s. Are we for real?
60s and 70s, and then my last contention in the top 10. I'll just focus on the top 10. Y'all go take a look at the list. Blonde by okay, Frank Ocean again is
Right,
a brilliant musician. But me personally, I guess again it's subjective. I don't think Blonde should be in the top 10. If you can give me Channel Orange, I'd rather believe Channel Orange
right.
be top 10 than Blonde. And Beyonce, y'all know we appreciate Beyonce over here. I don't think Lemonade should be in the top 10. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Anyway, so
Sorry.
that's my take. And so yeah, so it was
Yeah,
interesting.
and I'm sure that we all have our own list and
Yeah,
how
everybody's
we
subjective.
would,
Yeah.
I, I'm not mad at the first choice. That's what
No,
I'll say.
that's what we're saying. That we are both unified on. We're good with that.
I'm good
People
with
can be
that.
mad all they want.
I'm
I'm happy.
even good with I'm even good with Michael Jackson coming right after her. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
good with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Kudos to you, Lauren. You're still doing it with the same one album. But you know what? We're gonna move on from you and the one album. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're gonna go into the call out.
The call out.
Yes, this is where we put each other in the hot seat. We ask some questions and we're gonna answer them. So I saw a clip. I'm gonna go first with my question, but I have to
Mhm,
preface. So I saw a clip, a YouTube short clip, and there was this woman and a man who were discussing body counts, right?
mhm,
And the question came up. The question being, does body count matter? And now I'm going to take a step farther and say, does body count matter, and who do you think it matters the most to? Men
mm,
or women?
mm.
So, you know, with this question, I'm going to give my answer. Body count definitely matters for me. I'm sorry, I don't want you out in these streets like that. Knowing that your spouse or your significant other has had like countless bodies, for me, this is my opinion,
Can you give the
don't come
context
for
again?
me.
Can you give the context again of the interview that you saw? Because the person, what was the alleged number from the person?
Right, so yes, so right, it was Gucci Thug, or that, I think his name was Gucci Thug.
Mhm.
So his number was 3,000.
God damn!
Okay,
I don't even think that's possible.
well, I guess if you're a Rolling Stone. Yes, so this young man who is a rapper, he has a count of 3,000 women. Now, for me, body count matters. It does. When I think 3,000 people that you've had sex with, I feel as though there's a disease lurking.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, there's disease lurking. But even regardless of the obvious, which is diseases and, and all that, it's self worth. I
Mhm.
have to wonder to myself, yeah, you might be telling yourself that you're the shit and that, oh, everybody wants to have sex with me, right? But I find the people that don't do it are the ones that have a higher value for self. So if you can say, not everybody is gonna get touch of me. Not everybody is gonna get to sample me. I feel like, to me, that represents more self-worth than laying down with 3,000 women. You know, you might think that you're popular, that, why, you think highly of yourself, and that's great and all, right? However, to lay down with 3,000 women, that's a lot of damn that's a lot of damn pom pom as far as
Yeah,
I'm
right.
concerned. Okay. And second, those pom pom had sex with other penises. So,
Mm.
like, ew. That's actually, you could almost double that of how many people you've actually had sex with, because those people have had sex with this one and that one and this one and that one and this one and that one. It's too much. I think 3,000 is way too much. And to answer the ending of my question, who do I think that it matters more to? I think it matters more to men. Men don't want a woman that everybody's been with. I'm sorry. You could say I'm wrong. You can say, oh, that's not always true. It's a bunch of bullshit. They don't want a woman that they know has been around the block.
No, that's a
They
double
just don't.
standard.
You're not special to them. You're not unique to them. There's nothing that they can claim over and say that's my woman. No, that's his woman, and his woman. They've all had peace, and now we can all compare notes. No, thank you. So that's my answer. So does
Okay.
it matter to me? Sure does. Body count does matter. Now I'm gonna take it a step further and say, as a man, depending on your age, this young man is around 30. So if he started having sex at 15, in 15 years to have 3,000 women is unacceptable. But if it were 20, I could get over it. I
Hmm.
could get over it. It's almost averaging about, less than one a year. So, to you now, the question is, does body count matter? And who do you think it matters more to? Females or males? And third part of the question is, what is the high number to you?
Okay. Well, 3,000 is definitely 3,000 is pretty
Not
much even realistic. That's not even realistic.
That's a
But
village. That's a
yeah,
village of
because if
people.
you break that down for like Yuki said, it's 15 years, and say assume the person is 30, that's still over. That's 200 people a year.
Jesus.
That's like not even if that's like nothing's impossible, but that just doesn't even seem possible. But yeah, to your point, so you said first body count. Yeah, body count does matter. It is. I'm sorry, body count matters because, like I said, outside of like the exchange of bodily fluids,
Right?
right?
Oh my
Which
god.
is like, where a lot of STDs come from and stuff like that. We have a lot of contraceptives and stuff to protect against that and medicines to protect against it. But still, there's always a risk. That's one risk. That's one thing that kind of makes it
Mm-hmm.
a little bit distasteful. And another thing is like, because you not respect the health and hygiene of your body. And second is, I do believe there's like a spiritual exchange when you have sex with
Definitely.
somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like that means you've given a lot of yourself out. It's like, how do you consider yourself? How can you be complete when you've given so much of yourself away? You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
I do feel spiritually outside of the physical risk is like, it's like spiritual depletion and
Mm-hmm.
you've been compromised spiritually, to me
Yeah.
personally. And
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
my opinion. And so that's why I do think that's why it matters to me. And then number two is between the gender wars, who's it more important? Obviously it's men,
Mm-hmm.
because men
Mm-hmm.
like to feel it, they care more about it because they just want to feel like they're the man. I have the And so, women
This is my
about
prize.
this concrete. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a very primitive way men
Yeah.
look at like getting a woman, right?
Right.
Whether it's just to sleep with her or relationship, doesn't matter. There's a conquering there, and they want to be the number one guy. And
That's right.
it's literally impossible to be the number one guy when somebody has a high body count. It's just like you're one of many.
Right?
she might not even remember you after. Like you said, right? So
Wow.
I do think men, it's a more of an insecurity for men
Yeah.
than women, because women kind of expect men to be more experienced sexually. That's just what it is in our
Yeah.
society.
Yeah. It's true.
And but to me, I look at it equally. If it doesn't matter, a man or woman, say in the last 5 years they both slept with 30 people, I'd be like, ooh, both of you are
Right?
kind of
I know. It's
the
gross.
man is, to me, is just as questionable as a woman. And then finally, like you said, what was it, like the number? What did you say the
Yeah.
last question
I
was?
so what is like a number that you can is acceptable for you, I guess.
Okay. So if I what's acceptable for a man, let's say a
At the
man
age
that's
of 30.
at the age of 30, at the age of 30, for him to have a sexual a healthy appetite, honestly, I know this is conservative, but I'm saying about 30. That's still a lot, but
Yeah,
realistically.
that's what I said, roughly around what I said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm just saying, even if he's a whore, he's a whore. He had a whore time. Yeah, he
yeah,
was whoring around.
right?
then fine. You had that period, in college years, things could
Right?
get kind of,
Right.
so that's what I'm giving him, his whore times, and that
That's
being
right.
so 30, even though it's a lot. I'm like, okay, this is saying you had a phase. This is allowing you to have a whole phase,
Right.
basically.
30 is allowing a whole phase. And
Mhm.
and you know what? I could totally understand that
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you are in the early 20s, you know,
Yeah,
if like say you went to university or
exactly.
you know,
It's
like I
literally
can
a culture
understand
back.
30. I can
Yes.
understand 30 cuz if you like I said before, if you start at age 15, that's roughly about 2 a year. Not, you
Hmm.
know, you know,
That's okay.
I can manage that.
I
I
can live
can
with that.
manage. But 3,000, nah,
No, you're
fam.
sick. 3,000, you're sick. You're sick. Like, you're
Nah.
having orgies. You're doing everything. You're just like
Yeah,
all over the
right?
place.
Like it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Yes, but
Yeah, that's a
okay.
good question.
So what is your question to me? Oh.
Oh, I have an easy one. So we're talking about the top 100 albums earlier in our music news, and it made me nostalgic when thinking about Lauren. And Lauren is not the first album I bought, because around I was around, like, I don't know, 11, 10, 11, 12, that age range, when I
Mhm.
started getting gift certificates for HMV, RIP HMV, and HMV, to buy
Yep.
CDs. I think it made me remember my first album. So Lauryn Hill's wasn't my first, but it was among some of my early ones that I would purchase with my gift certificate, birthday gifts or Christmas
Mhm.
gifts. So the question is, do you remember the first album you bought with your own money?
With my
And what is
own
it?
money.
Obviously. And so I could tell you mine. I
Uh-huh.
was When we were celebrating Missy Elliott's indoctrination into the
Mhm.
R&B, sorry,
Mhm.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I remember
Mhm.
my first album, because of those music videos. I was like, "Damn, where the hell did this woman come from?" I was
Mhm.
so impressed. My first album that I bought with my HMV gift card was Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott.
Okay. Okay.
Or Brandy. You know what? It's getting kind of shady. It's a mix between shady. Sorry, it's a mix between the Super Duper Fly and Brandy's, the one where the boy's mind is on. I think it's shoot. My brain is going. My brain, the one with boy's mind is on. I'll look it up. It's either that or those two are the first two I know I had in my so-called collection.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep.
I think I don't know if it was my first one, but I remember distinctly buying this at
Mhm.
HMV. Buju Banton, Voice of Jamaica.
Voice of Jamaica, Buju Banton.
Yes,
Okay.
man. Yo, that first album had me in a chokehold. Okay, it had me in a chokehold, and yeah, yeah, because Buju Banton back then he was big. He was
Yeah.
real big, and you know, I think I was starting to come more into reggae music at that point.
That's
See, this is the thing: is that when you're raised in a house with West Indian parents, you will hear the music. It's
yeah.
not that it's not there; it's there.
Mhm.
But I'm also Canadian,
Mm.
and New Kids on the Block were the thing at the time when I was growing up.
Mhm.
Other genres were more interesting at the time because I grew up with calypso and reggae. So it
Mhm.
wasn't anything that was like, oh, I'm going to rush out and get, because it
Mhm.
was in my household. So
Mhm.
I rushed out and got all those other genres of music. And
Mhm.
then I think, I was around 15 ish when I started to say, you know what? I want to get more into reggae.
Mhm.
And I did, you
Okay.
know, I did. And so I was very much into reggae, and Buju Banton was one of my favorites. Like, you don't understand how hurt I was when he went to jail. I was so devastated. I was like, what? Buju, how could you? How could
Mhm.
you? No, but Buju Banton. Just thinking to myself, yeah, those were good times. Those were good
Okay.
times. Yeah,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
Buju Banton, that first album, Voice of Jamaica, please go pick it up. You need to listen to it. If you want to know anything about Buju, this is the place to start. So, yes, but anyways, those are all good questions that we had there in our call out. And
Mhm.
so we are going to move on into the workout.
Workout.
Yes, this is where we work out our hearts and exercise our mental fitness, doing a deep dive discussion on topics that are affecting us. And this particular topic is affecting us greatly. Why? Because we can't get this man's name out of our mouths. Diddy, listen. So, okay. Earlier this week, we saw a video, very disturbing video. I think it was on the 20th, so the
Mhm.
starting of the week,
Mhm.
of this is a famous video now. This video's it's infamous. So please, if you haven't seen it, please go and find it. Go see it. But I will warn you. I will warn you. It's graphic. Please be careful. There, it could be triggering. I know it was for me when I saw it the first time. So we see a video back from 2016
Mhm.
of a hotel incident that Cassie actually had mentioned in her lawsuit against Diddy. And that was that he was beating her up. He beat her up really badly, and Diddy paid for the footage. He paid for the video, right? So
Mhm.
now the video has come and it has surfaced. And we all got to see how horrible of an individual his new name is Demon to
Mm.
me.
Mhm.
We saw a demon in live action.
Oh yeah.
This man beat the living shit out of this girl in front of the elevator in a towel. Okay?
The towel was killing me.
And the towel was killing me
And he was
because
not letting that towel go
he
either with
wasn't
all
letting
that
that
ass
towel
kicking.
go for nothing. That damn towel wasn't gonna drop for nobody. You understand what I'm telling you? So and that actually shows that he was very cognitive of what he was
Mm.
doing. The fact that he didn't just run out of there naked, he grabbed the
Yes.
towel. He knew that he had to cover up himself, right? Oh, okay. So he got to the elevator and Cassie was trying to get away and he beat her up. He beat her up really badly. He
He
didn't
beat the
just use
shit
his
out of her.
he beat the shit out of her. He didn't just use his hands, he used his foot, he used everything that he could get to beat this young little girl. And so, with all the backlash that has come after everybody, the world, this is on the big medias, okay? This is on CNN. CNN was who dropped this video, okay?
Mhm.
How the hell CNN don't have nothing else to do? Nothing else to report on? Are we going through wars and shit? But we're talking
Mhm.
about Diddy, okay? So CNN, they dropped the video. So this is on huge media sources, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so the backlash came, and Diddy's apology followed. Okay. So we see Diddy sitting by him lonesome, look like he might have been in Bali with
You right?
Russell Simmons or something. The two pedophiles. But anyhow, and he, is trying his best to win a Grammy. Like he's trying to win an Oscar, a Grammy,
Oscar.
a Tony. He's trying to win it all with this performance, okay? Because that's exactly what it was. He did not mention Cassie's name. He didn't mention any other victim that he's done this to. He tried to make us all feel sad and sorry for him and all sorts of nonsense. And he's going to get help. And, he's gone to everything he could throw at us, he did. He's going to the Lord. He's trying to get help. He's going to rehabilitation. He's doing da, da, da. Not a tear dropped out of this man's eye. He was looking left constantly. And they say that when you look left or a person starts to look left when they're talking to you, they're lying. So that's just a little body,
body language.
Body language that you can see. Lots of people have dissected his apology. I'm not going to do that much because it's a bunch of bullshit. So I'm not even going to go too much into that. But we do want to discuss it in our workout, what we've seen, his apology, the backlash, and Miss Cassie. Miss Cassie has spoke out after this stupid ass apology that Diddy gave. And she basically said, no, you're sorry you got caught. Okay, moving on. You're not going to impress us. You're not going to sway us. We know who you really are. But I also want to mention in this conversation, 50 Cent. 50 Cent, listen, this man, he's the biggest flipping troll I've ever met in my life. Like, this man can't stand Diddy. No. He can't. And it has been reported that he has a deal with Netflix for an substantial amount of money. Okay, I think if I'm not correct, I think they said 100 million or so to do this documentary on surviving Diddy.
Wow, that's
50 Cent, how does he come into play? I'll tell you. So 50 Cent's baby mother, which is the son of his youngest child, Daphne, oh goodness, her name is Daphne. I don't remember her last name. Supposedly was in one of the lawsuits with Diddy, and is a part of the freak offs, and is supposedly supposed to be, I guess a prostitute or whatever she might be. And so 50's not having it. I think when Diddy even thought to involve 50's baby mother, he went down a really dark path, because now the same money you had to pay out to Cassie, 50 is making that money back on your off of you. And it's sad to say, but he's making a lot of money hand over fist off of Diddy. And we all know that 50 can't stand Diddy. So anyways, let's start with what we saw. So I'm going to be brief on that part because it is triggering for me.
Yeah, it's very triggering.
Very, very triggering for me. The part that I think that was the saddest for me was she didn't even fight back.
Yeah, the signs of a woman who's already been beat,
She knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
She knew that I need to get on the floor, curl up in a ball, and wait for it to be over. That broke my heart. Because I've been there, not as deep as she has been in, but I've been there where I have had to endure physical violence in a relationship. And I will say one thing. When you first get hit, you come out swinging. You come out swinging because you're naturally, you want to protect yourself, right? And you'll do whatever you can do, and you'll fight back. So when it gets to a point where a woman doesn't fight back, she's been beat that bad. She's gone through it. She has now taught her brain not to do what it would naturally do.
Yeah, you're right.
That's fucked. I don't care what nobody wants to say, excuse my language, but nobody can tell me that is right. For a woman to tell herself to do the opposite of what would come natural to her, which is defend herself, she's gone through it too many times. She knows exactly how to handle it. And it's better if she does it like this because it will be over quicker. That's all I gotta say about the video. So
Yeah.
what's going on in your mind about this video right here, Jeanette? Please.
I was literally sick to my stomach, and I was gonna ask you, as somebody, had a little bit, a touch of, dealt with domestic violence in some shape or form, is, yeah, I don't know how I feel about them releasing it. I understand why they did it, and I think it was the nail in the coffin. If we really,
Yep.
if there is some higher power trying to end Diddy, that video did it.
Sure did.
Period. Period. Point blank. I get that, but I also felt it was very, very violent, and it was just everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never experienced that, but even to see it, it made me sick, because I'm like, the way I look at that's somebody's daughter. What if that, like, if I saw any child, my niece, my nephew, my anybody, like, in my family getting that type of treatment, I would literally want to kill them,
Right?
because he was kicking her like a bloody dog. Not
No.
even a dog people
Not
kick
even
like.
dogs get kicked like that.
And then he was just in there holding on to the, I'm sorry, the comedic relief.
This
The way that towel stayed on this man as he was raging like a motherfucking lunatic. What kind of branded towel is that?
and you notice he never dropped his hand from holding that towel.
And he's doing the most, and that towel is still up.
The joke is the towel is so wide open, everything would have been flopping, flipping all around the damn place, anyways. First, second, I'm like, how are you still holding on to this towel? I'm beating her like this.
Right? Oh my god. So anyway, the video was very triggering. I felt conflicted in them honestly having it everywhere. I don't know. It just looked really brutal. It was very violent. And outside of the kicking her like a man, just like kicking the shit out of her, then throwing the vases. Again, we saw the verbal description of this incident
Yeah.
in her lawsuit.
Yeah.
But like, I guess, like they say, like, when a video is worth a million
right? Okay.
words or dollars or whatever, because I was like, and all those people who were tiptoeing, tap dancing around criticizing Diddy, they literally couldn't anymore. And those who tried to defend him literally had to pussy pop it
Yeah,
back up.
just shut the hell up. That's what you need to do. Shut the hell up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was very heartbreaking to see it live like that. And I think, Diddy is, and what, or was, whatever, a very sick person.
Diddy done. That's what he is.
Dunzo. I just, on the comment I saw the video, I said, he's Dunzo. I said, Dunzo. He's done. He's done. He can't come back from this. We were wondering with the lawsuit if he would tippy toe. I was like, and we were like, I think you and I had opposing, or both of us were kind of like, we don't know. It could be possible. You never know, like, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
rich men, no matter the
Well,
rich
in
men
his
with power,
caliber. Yeah, I
of his
know.
power. Let's say power. He had a lot of power. His
Yeah, he
wealth is
did.
a question, but he definitely had a lot of power and influence. And that's why we were like, we weren't sure, like, to say if maybe if he gave it a couple of years, maybe he could tippy toe back and show his face. But now he's done.
Yeah,
And
and in terms of the backlash, right? Like, I just wanted to mention
yeah,
all those people that were supporting Diddy. Yeah, you got told you need to
yes,
shut the hell up. But I also want to say with those particular people, like Floyd
Slim,
Mayweather,
Floyd Mayweather, Slim Thug.
you all have beaten women before. So you're going to ride with this guy because you don't want people to turn their eyes on you.
Mm.
So, in terms of the backlash that Diddy got, I think it's well warranted. I think
Oh, of
we all
course.
see who he really is.
Mhm.
Anybody who could watch that video and still try to weasel a way out for him, honestly, you're of the same cloth. So you need to just step aside with Diddy. I'm so sad to see that this type of video is rotating. Like it's
Mm.
everywhere. You
Yeah,
can't go
I had it. Yeah.
anywhere and not see this.
Hmm.
Clips of it or him in the towel, all sorts of stuff. So when I saw that Cassie had something to say, I was really happy about that. But the next step in this saga, after we saw the video, was the dumbass apology.
The Oscar nominated apology.
That's right, Jeanette. Okay, the Oscar goes to what the fuck? Because this man really thought that he's so smart.
Mhm.
He really thinks he's that brilliant. Like he thinks he's that smart. He's above everybody else. Nobody can talk to him. Nobody can tell him nothing. Yeah? Why now?
And
Why?
it's funny because he
Because
says,
the tape is out and you are definitely in it and we all know who you are in this situation. Is that why we're apologizing?
mhm. But
Because
he said it's so funny
mhm,
because he says, like they say, I've been seeing him creeping into this for a while. He brought God into it and saying, I'm praying for this and da da da. And he says it's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you got to do that. You could have done. You've had the video, Diddy. You should have did this a long time ago. He says, I was effed up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior in that video is inexcusable. And he says, I take full
of what?
responsibility for my actions in the video. I am
What
disgusted.
actions?
I was disgusted then I did it, and I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, and I'm disgusted now. And
Yeah,
with
okay.
all the talking, the long talking, no, he didn't even mention her name. He did not apologize to the person he violated
Uh,
in that video, and that's where everybody was like, "Did he shut the fuck up? Like, who are you talking to?"
when you apologize to somebody, okay, I don't know about everybody else, but when if you're gonna apologize to me, right, I need
Mm,
to know what you're apologizing for.
right?
Okay, I need you to be sincere, and I need you to direct it to me, the
Mm,
person who you are apologizing to. He didn't do any of that. None of that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's why it comes off really fake.
So he definitely came out with this video because he got caught and because this video has now collaborated
Yeah.
everything that everybody has ever said about him.
Mm.
This one video. So Rod Wave, yup, check. Everything you said is correct. Okay. This new lawsuit from this young lady, this I forget her name. She just came
Oh,
into the
yeah.
mix. This young lady, who was a model at one point, she now has a lawsuit against Diddy. This definitely, this video that we see Cassie getting beat up, everybody after that, anybody who wants to sue you for this type of thing, they have full compliance by the world. Okay, and if you go into a court of law, well, this is your behavior here. So if you could do that to her, why couldn't you do it to anybody else? So this one video is like, honestly, I really feel as though Cassie or whoever is dropping these videos needs to drop more. They need to drop more
Mm.
because we need to see not just Diddy. We need to know who are the people who have been protecting Diddy, who are the people who he's been involved with, who are the people who stood beside him and allowed this nonsense to go on, right?
Mhm.
So anyhow, because we want to keep it moving so we can get to what Cassie has to say.
Yeah. So Cassie, after the video came out and everybody's now started to turn on Diddy and admonish, pretty much, everybody was like, "Yeah, Diddy, that's fucked up. That's
Right?
fucked up that he did that." And like, it was really hard to defend Diddy when that video came out. And so she came out finally because unfortunately people had to see the video. Some
Yep.
people still needed to see the video. She told us what he did in her lawsuit. Anybody who read it, like you and I, would know. We're like, oh shit, this is exactly what she described, because she describes
Mm-hmm.
them throwing vases at her in the bloody hallway of the hotel. That's crazy.
Right?
That nobody, like, that never got public, right? That's crazy that he was able to keep that under wraps for so long. So she came out and said, I thank you for all your love and support from my family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, strangers, and those who I have yet to meet. The outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But this is only the beginning. Domestic violence is the issue. It
That's
broke
right.
me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I am better today, but I'll always be recovering from my past. Thank you to everyone that has taken time who has taken time to take this matter seriously. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in. I offer my hand to those that are still living in fear. Reach out to your people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. This healing journey is never ending, but this support means everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. She ends it. So
Well said, Cassie. Well said.
well said. And it's pretty much saying that, like, we know what she's really saying is all you motherfuckers who are talking shit about me,
Right?
you needed a video to know that I was not lying. Here you go, but now let's address this evilness, which is
Right?
issue with domestic violence, right?
Yes. Let's
He was
get back to what actually matters.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was amazing. And obviously everybody's giving her grace. And I think I think she got most women, again, like you and I, who were always thought that was relationship was questionable. I never needed to see the video, but for those who needed to see it, there you go. And again, that's why Diddy is done. Also, I think her husband said something too, but he's been poking Diddy for the longest while. He done knew. If you read his messages, you knew shit was that.
And that's the here. I've been reading since they before they got married
Yes, before
about
they
what
got
this
married.
man has been coming for Diddy. He has had his whole foot, his whole leg, neck,
Yeah.
everything upon him. You understand? Like he is not letting it go. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what he should do. That's what he should do. Protect his woman and call out the nonsense. Because what I wanted to mention in this segment also,
Mm-hmm.
how is it that everybody is not who has jumped ship from
Oh,
Diddy
yeah, that's my issue. Yep.
wants to have big interviews, big
Mm-hmm.
conversations, but when it was going on, what were you doing? What were you doing? What were you doing about it? Now, one of Diddy's security guards did an interview. I forget who it was with.
He's been everywhere. I know
Was
who
it
you're talking about.
Vlad? Was it
He's
Vlad Tepes?
everywhere right now.
Anyway, so he did an interview and he basically said, when he saw all that happened between Cassie and Diddy, and that he did at times try to protect Cassie, but
Mm-hmm.
because she was such a battered woman, and not only that, she was strung out. Let's just keep it a buck because he kept her doped up. So she was strung out and she went back to Diddy many times and at times would tell him, maybe not willingly, but would tell Diddy of what his security guards were doing and saying. And so the security guard was between a rock and a hard place. Now, I thought about it long and hard, right? Because some people were saying, well, it's his job. And, she was kept going back to Diddy and saying this, that, and the third. And I said, okay, what would I have done? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I would have called the police.
Yeah. Right.
Simple. I understand it's your job.
All you have to do is take a picture of her when she's looking fucked up.
Thank you.
And
Take a video.
but to your point, I think to your point, we also have to think culturally with black people and calling the police. They're funny with that,
Very
right?
funny. And
Very
him being
funny.
a security guard for Diddy, we don't know
Yeah.
what his past life was like.
Right.
Maybe he did
So,
some time, maybe he's, and so Diddy just,
but it's
gave him a job
but like
kind of
to
thing.
the point is like even like you're funny, whatever your reasons for not doing it, for whatever your reasons, your job would have been in jeopardy or Diddy would punish you in some way, whatever the repercussion, then you have to live with that. That needs to be your burden. So
Well, but
because
I would live with it with ease because I know I did something.
no, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You free yourself by
That's
doing
right.
something
Mhm.
genuine to help.
That's
So
right.
now, the security guard, and again, I understand he was in a rock and a hard place. But what I'm uncomfortable with is, if he did one interview or two interviews, is fine. But him being everywhere, but you know what? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what situation. Maybe
But
Diddy
you know
left him
what
broke.
I think about that particular what you're saying, I'm gonna go with that. But here's the thing. Why weren't you doing that when she dropped the lawsuit?
That's it.
Why are we doing that now? Why? Because there's factual evidence out there?
Maybe,
Like there's an
maybe.
actual tape? But
Yeah,
there's another
maybe.
security guard. What's his name? Gene.
Gene
Jeans.
Deal. I'm actually talking about Gene Deal. I'm not talking about anybody else
Oh,
but
I'm
Gene
talking
Deal.
about this new security guard who, after
Okay.
Diddy apologized, and he came out and said that he was there. He tried to help uh, Cassie.
Okay.
Because Gene was the longer security guard. Like he
Yes, that's
was
I'm
with,
talking about Gene Deal. Yeah.
yeah, Gene Deal was with Diddy the longest, but this new
Mhm.
security guard, I think his most of his experience was just with Cassie and not
Mhm.
necessarily Kim Porter and Cassie.
Mhm.
Versus Gene Deal, he had experience right back from Misa. So he
Mhm.
was around for a long time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
anyhow, why is it that, we didn't do more? Why are you now everywhere talking everything? I'm glad you're saying something because at least you are proving Cassie's case
Mhm.
by your account of things. With this situation, it's really tricky, and how I guess everybody else around Diddy handled it.
Yeah, I think that's really like again we're talking about the fallout. Pretty much we're seeing this is the fallout now. And okay, we have the security guards, then we have Misa now.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have and a battered woman is I don't. It's because it's funny. Again, Diddy was powerful. Diddy, outside of just being a man in a relationship, he had children with these women like Kim
yep,
Porter and Lisa Hilton. He had a lot of clearly people were very intimidated by him. As much as we were thought Diddy was kind of like a corny joke, the little, the take that dude.
yep,
He clearly we found out he didn't mess around behind the scenes.
no,
And so I'm trying to give grace, but it is bothering me that everybody now is coming out with their story
yeah,
when they could have came out with their story 10 years ago and saved at least saved Cassie's at least Cassie.
right.
Um
Well,
yeah.
everybody's jumping off ship, but it
Yeah.
looks like 50 Cent is jumping on the ship because
Oh, yeah, he's jumping.
50, he's so damn petty, 50. But what I will say with 50 and his pettiness
Yeah.
is what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And for 50, if he thinks it's right, he's gonna go 100 on it. He's gonna go. If he thinks it's wrong, he's going to go 100 on it. So I can see that for him, he stands for what's right is right and for what is wrong.
I
And
don't
he
think
will
it's a
be
right
super
or wrong
petty.
thing with 50 Cent personally. I think 50 just hates Diddy that much.
No, he does, but I also think that he hates him because of who and what he's done. And I
Hmm.
think that he just knows it's wrong. You know,
Hmm.
um 50, I know you have skeletons. Trust me, I know you
Oh
have
yeah, that's good. Yeah,
skeletons.
we know. Yeah, come on, a guy like that. Come on.
Okay, you were supposedly Daphne, your baby mother, said that you beat her up and did all sorts of stuff, but then she turned around and recanted the statement. So we don't know. But either
Mhm.
way, you're petty as shit. But go ahead, make that money. Go ahead,
Yeah.
make that money, 50. Yes,
Hmm.
go over to Netflix and sell his blasted story before he gets a chance to sell his blasted story. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, 50. And this is going to have his blood boiling. It's going to
Oh
be
yeah.
boiling. So that's
He's like
good.
probably like people bought that shit already.
Right? And for lots of money, too. Like lots and lots of money, millions and millions of dollars, you know, which wow. I don't know how 50 like for real. Like when I saw that 50 went to Netflix and sold, I was like, this man, this man don't play. When he has a vendetta against you, I'm serious, man. 50 will go through everything he has to go through to make sure
Mm.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm walking away with 100 mil. How about you? Oh, you just had to spend 100 mil. And you're still spending because these stories it feels like every other day there's somebody coming out of the woodwork suing Diddy, and justfully so. This man was terrible, and he is still terrible. And there's nothing that he can do. There's nothing he can say to get us black people back on his bandwagon. Because after we saw you beat the shit out of this young girl, and feel no two ways about it in
Mm.
front of the elevator where other people could come off and see you doing this shit, you got to get knocked down a peg. You got to get knocked down. You got to get knocked down to a point where you understand you're not as powerful as you think you are. And whoever was protecting Diddy is no longer doing that.
Mm.
What I want to know is, this is the question, and this will end our podcast for today.
Mm.
How the hell did Cassie get out?
That's what I'm gonna want to know. That's what if Diddy, sorry, if 50 Cent is gonna make a quality documentary series, I'm gonna need that story.
I
I'm gonna
need the
need her.
title of the movie to be, okay? How did she leave? How did she
Mm,
get out?
mm,
Cassie escaped. I like, for real, for real.
mm.
I've been asking this. We have,
Yeah.
I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. How the hell did she get out of this? Because
Mm,
in the course of us getting to know who Diddy is behind the scenes,
mm,
he had, at one point, he had Misa
mm,
and Kim Porter were friends. He took on Kim Porter, dropped Misa. Okay. Then he had Kim Porter, Cassie at one point, and
mhm.
J Lo.
We can't forget the woman he had. He has another daughter. He has three daughters, the twins, and another girl named Chance.
That's right.
We can't forget that woman. I can't remember her name right now, but I know the daughter's name is
The
Chance.
Hood triplets. The Hood triplets. Yes, I
Yes,
know.
yes, yes.
Yeah, but so how is it that you got away? How did you get away? Now, I know your husband, okay? He's out in these streets. He's ready to deal with Diddy at the drop of a dime. I know he is. He's ready. But how did you get out? We have very important, not very important, very famous people such as Kid Cudi. There was countless people who tried to help this girl. So, and either they got cars blown up, okay? People went missing, people dying, all sorts of things. So how did she get out? I really want to know that. Because even though she left in the public's eye, even though she left and she got married to her husband and stuff like that, just before she got married to her husband, Diddy tried. He raped her, he
Mm,
assaulted her. It was like there was nothing that she could do to actually leave him.
mm.
So, how the hell did she get out of this? I'm asking all of y'all listeners, please, if you know how the hell this woman got out of this, and is still alive to speak the tale, how the hell? That's all I got to say about that. And you know what, Cassie, thank you for opening up the floodgates. Thank you for being brave enough. Thank you for reliving such a horrible time in your life, for other victims, for other people to come out and feel comfortable that they can too speak their story. I'm so thankful that you were able to get through it, and that you are working on yourself, and that you are seeing that you are valuable, and that you are a child of God, and you too deserve happiness. I'm so glad that you're doing this, Cassie. I'm so glad you opened up the floodgates, because I'm telling you, the water, it a got through. It a got through, and it a drowned Diddy. Rightfully so. And with all that said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. And we'll talk to y'all real soon.